Hi everyone, hello, hope you're doing okay. Chocolo Birds here, but no, well, for a video review, I guess, yes, a live one. Hope you're doing alright. It's a lovely, beautiful Saturday here in the UK today. Very much a spring day, really. I don't think it's officially spring yet, but maybe not for a couple of days, but it's beautiful outside, beautiful. I feel like I should be doing so much more, but there we go. Yeah, I've just been lazing about tidying the house today, but there we are. Saturday chores, what can we do? But here we go, look at this, yes. It's a Moser Roth Luxury H-Box. Now, there was a tie, those you don't know, I do basically a weekly poll to see what people want me to vote live on for Saturday. But there's a tie today between this and the H-Box equivalent, the Hotel Chocolat, which I do have to one side. So I'll just go get it so you can see. Just round the corner here. It's literally there you go. So basically, Moser Roth seem to do quite a few equivalents of Hotel Chocolat H-Boxes, and you can clearly see there's a distinct similarity here between these two products. I mean, it's not quite, the same, but I think we can safely say it's influenced by it. One's influenced by the other. I assume it's the Hotel Chocolat product that came first. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I do a sort of poll to see who will win, and this one basically won. So there we go. Well, actually, I say that it didn't. It was a tie. It was a tie today, so I had to pick one, and I thought, well, because I had two sort of two Moser Roth products on the poll, I thought, well, I'll do one now and then another one, can be done another time. So, yeah, so that was the gist of it. So, yeah, so but as I say, if you don't vote, your vote will count. So, have a look out for that. As I post them around Tuesday, Wednesday. So do look out for that. It's yeah, I'll say it's not it's not mandatory. It's only a light-hearted thing, but it's a good way to sort of interact with the channel, I guess. So there we go. So you can see these ones on the back here. We've got these different kinds. So there is 7 different kinds here. Now, if you look on the Hotel Chocolat one, there is 10 different kinds. So there is a difference. It's not exactly the same. But if you look at I think it's the salted macadamia in the top right on that one, and maybe the pistachio one, possibly. Not sure. You can see the salted macadamia in the bottom right, second from the right. And there's pistachio one on the left as well. So there are some similarities, and you see the salted macadamia is that colour. It's a different colour actually, isn't it? So they don't, yeah, I don't know. They seem to be influenced by each other anyway. But there we go. Interesting. There we are. Yes, halfway through, if I remember as well, I'll do a cream egg opening, see if we've won the £10,000 prize or not. Yeah, I do have one. I might have to run and grab it actually. I forgot. I mean, one of those hectic days today. Basically, I'm all over the place. So yeah, you have to bear with me. But I think I've got everything in place. So there we go. Right, so there we are. So let's have a look then, shall we? So let's see. I might just grab the menu at the back of this. I think for ease of reference, so I'll just screenshot it. Now, my camera tripod has been threatening to fall over every second today, so fingers crossed it won't. Might be in trouble if it does, because I do have a drink to the right. Yes, there we go. So we'll just print screen that. There we go. So I'm just print screen. Basically, what I've done is I've just screen captured the that sort of menu, and what I'm doing now is I'm just dragging a sort of capture window across it to save it. So I won't be 5 seconds. Look, I'm looking quite pensive, but there we are. Okay, so where do I need to save it? That's the next question, isn't it? Okay, there we go. Let's find it. All right, there we are. So hopefully it should be done. So I've already got a reference in the streaming software, basically. So there we are. So it's a bit dark. I could, if I had all the time in the world, I could lighten this up. But obviously I'm doing this live, so I don't. So we just have to accept it for what it is. But it's good enough. It's good enough. So you can see the different kinds there across my face, but now I don't have to keep showing you the box, basically. And as you can imagine, yeah, I'd be tucking the box up all the time and stuff like this. So it would be a bit of a pain to do that, but there we go. So there we are. So we've got the speculoos, the blonde, the orange, the pistachio caramel, the raspberry, the salted macadamia, and the salted caramel. So there's a few salted ones, but interesting. None of them are standing out too much to me as anything different. I mean, the raspberry one sounds interesting, I think. Blonde's quite a new thing, isn't it? Blonde chocolate seems to be the thing now. Caramel, white chocolate, pretty much. I think most other things are quite nice. Orange, I guess, is exciting for me. Speculoos, maybe. But I think the raspberry and the blonde one sound particularly interesting to me, I think. Yeah, so there we go. All right, so let's give it a bit of a... I'll tell you what, I'll zoom down and we'll give it an open, shall we? So I'll just organise things. Okay, there we go. Right, okay. All right, let's move the camera down a bit to have a look. You can see all the shenanigans going on a bit there. Okay. There we go. Right. So it's sellotaped at the side, so we'll just use a bit of knife edge to open it up if we can. The knife's not the sharp. I need to get a new knife perhaps. I've had this one quite a long time. It wasn't my first knife I had on the channel. The first one just randomly disappeared. I still don't know where it went. It's not actually cut through this. Okay, there we go. It's cut through the other one. Not quite. Yeah, I don't know where it went. I had some builders around the house at one point. I don't know if they pinched it or used it for something and threw it away because they broke it. I don't know. It's the only thing I can figure. I accidentally threw it away somehow. But you wouldn't have thought you'd accidentally throw away a knife. I don't know, so I'm not sure. My theory is that some builders. I mean, a couple of knives disappeared actually, like bread knives and things. So I don't know. My theory was that some builders used them for like mixing something or poking something. Or just fancied them, I don't know, but it's, I don't know, so I'm not sure about that. Anyway, you see a nice looking selection, I think you'd say. Now there is a 15 in here, and it's 7 chocolates, so clearly one of them's going to have an extra one, I guess. And I think that's, is this orange one looks to be, there's 3 of these. I think there's 3 of these ones, which is possibly the orange one, which again is a good, well we do have the thing actually here. We could reference it, but it's still a bit awkward. I think that's the salted caramel actually, if you look at it, bottom right. Sort of, strangely, yeah, it has a sort of orange speckles. So it's not a bad one to have 3 of, I think. I think if it's one of the nutty ones, I might be a bit less excited because that's usually ones I'm not too fussed on. But there we go. Yeah. So yeah, so quite nice, nicely secured as well. Actually, they don't come out very easy. I could probably, if we give it a go. Look at that. I can turn it upside down and they don't fall out. Now I'm not going to shake them. Well, oh, there we go. One did fall out. That's not bad. I quite like that. I think that's pretty good packaging, that. And that one, okay, well they do fall out slightly, but I think you can say that's not too bad. I'm happy with that. And I think they look quite nice as well, actually. I think the design's a bit, this one here, for instance, you can clearly, well, sort of see that the 2 halves, well, they kind of align actually, but they kind of don't. They're not like, well, this one here for sure. They don't seem to sort of quite. I don't know. They do go over a bit actually. It's just weird. It's as if it stops halfway, but it could actually go on because you can see here that the design does go over the seam a bit. So it's an odd one. So I guess they do. They do look quite nice. I'm quite happy with these. Oh, hello, Joe. How's it going? How are you doing? Okay? Is everything going okay? It's a lovely day here in the UK. Actually, a lovely, beautiful day in the UK. Actually, here. Not saying it's Brazil weather, but but it's certainly not bad. We're just looking at the Moser Roth chocolate egg selection today. Very well priced selection actually. Yeah, not bad at all. Lovely. Lovely looking selection. Actually, I think the box, it's basically Hotel Chocolat sort of cheaper spin-off. You can see here, and the box for this one isn't quite as exciting, but nonetheless, it's a lot cheaper, and it looks pretty good actually. I'm quite happy with it. In theory, you probably want to review them both at the same time, but I think in practice that's not too easy to do really. But there we go. Just see what the weather is like. I do have as people probably know, I've got a chat bot, Nightbot, that does some shenanigans. We've got some commands that we can use. Looking at the weather is one of them. I'll just get my keyboard out. Let's have a look. I think I've typed it right. Hopefully I have. See if Nightbot appears and does its magic. Tells me what the weather is. Hopefully it will do. We'll see. I'm in Manchester in the UK, by the way, so there we go. There we are. Oh no, that's Joe. I thought it was my Nightbot's appearance. So yeah, you're doing great. How about yourself? Beautiful, kind of sunny day here too. Yeah, it's lovely. Lovely day. I'm not doing too bad, thank you. But I need the weekend just to recharge. Basically, so I'm a bit all over the place today, just trying to catch up on things. But one of those. Yeah, it doesn't help when you go to bed so late, I guess. But there we go. But yeah, I'm glad you're doing okay, Joe. Really good to see you again as well. There we go. Weather for Chocolo Roberto. Weather for Manchester. Conditions are sunny with a temperature of 15 degrees. The wind is blowing from the east at 12 miles an hour, and the current humidity is 41%. 15 degrees is good weather for me. When it starts to get like into the 20s, I start to boil a bit. So there we go. All right, so let's. So we're just saying, Joe, we've got basically 3 of these. There's 15 in here, 7 different kinds of chocolate. So one of them has 3 in, and we can see here it's a salted caramel one here. So yeah. But everything else has 2, and that's not too bad. Some of the Hotel Chocolat ones that we've got here, this Hotel Chocolat box, it's got 10 different kinds in, and I think there's 15 chocolates in it. Does it say? I think there's usually 15. There might not be 15, but I don't think there'll be more than 15. Should say really, shouldn't it? But it doesn't seem to say. 15 melt in the mouth. So there you go. So clearly here you see only, was it a third of them, I guess? You have a third of them. Yeah, I don't know. Well, 2 of them will appear twice, but well, yeah, I think 10 of them will appear twice. Is that right? Or 5 of them will appear twice? 5 of them will appear twice, and the other 5 won't. Yeah, not 10 of them, 5 of them. You know. My maths is not as good as it was. Yeah, so 5 of them you won't have appearing twice basically, whereas these ones, all of them appear twice. Yeah, so I think that's right anyway. Hopefully I've got that right. Feels like I've got it wrong. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. Honestly, hopefully you've understood me in some respect anyway, is what I was trying to get at. Okay, so let's start with the top left, shall we? Oh, hi there, Rick. How are you doing? Oh, good to see you as well. How's things going with you? Lovely, beautiful sunny day we're just saying here in the UK, at least in Manchester anyway. I guess it's quite late where you are, so you probably had the day. And you can't miss the eggs. Yes, I know what you mean. In fact, before I forget, I am going to go get the cream egg for the mid session opening. Won't be a second. Yeah, basically just been a bit all over the place this morning, you know, so there we go. But I'm back now. Here we go. Yes, I got the egg. There we are, we got it. Pitch black, yeah, well, yes. What time does it go dark in Korea? And I guess for you, Joe, when does it go dark in Brazil? Yeah, usually it gets later in the UK as it gets towards the summertime. So it goes dark around 10 o'clock, 10:30 at times, so it's really nice. It's quite warm today, actually. I think my house is struggling to cope with the change in temperature. All right, so we'll do the speculoos first. Why not? Just take a swig of my drink to cleanse the palate. Hey, good to see you both, by the way. I hope you're doing all right. I think in the UK, because it's such nice weather, we probably won't have many UK watchers today because they'll all be outside doing stuff. Yeah, it's one of those things. We have to be careful with the live reviews in the summer months. Remember we had some problems last year, didn't we? So yeah. We eat those mystery Creos. I thought they were going to be assorted, but they are peanut butter scented. No, I've not heard of those. But I knew Creos was like a Lego spin-off at one point. But yeah, I haven't heard of them. No, what's it? I think you might. It vaguely sounds familiar, but I could be thinking that Lego spin-off. I think around 7 p.m. there. Okay, so you're about 3 hours. 3 hours ahead of us then. Yeah, it's 3 hours behind. Well, 7 p.m. where you are. Oh, see. Sorry, yes. When it goes dark. Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I was going to say you should be behind us. Yeah. Yeah. See. Oreos. Okay. Yes. Yeah. You mentioned them. They're all peanut butter. You mentioned them in Discord the other day. Yeah, you did mention them yesterday in Discord, so I have heard of them. Yes. Yeah. Oh, they're all peanut. What's a bit of a shit? So you basically get a mystery flavour. So they're not all different, just the actual flavour. So maybe if you got on them again, it'd be mint ones or something like that. That's a bit of a shame, but interesting all the same. Okay, to the speculoos one, milk chocolate shell decorated with blonde chocolate. Blonde chocolate swirls and filled with smooth biscuit butter. That sounds quite interesting, doesn't it? Biscuit butter. Koreans might like that, Rick. Butter involved. Okay, so which one is this one then? Can't easily tell actually which one this is. I think it's this one. Is it that one? I don't actually know which. Yeah, I think it's this one. I think. Here we go. Can't tell by the smell, but I think it's that one. Would you say that's a speculoos one? I can't really see what else it could be in the selection, to be honest with you. Doesn't really look like it does on the thing, but as I say, there's none others that fit that. It might just be a trick of the light when I took the screenshot. I think that is the speculoos one, but I can't see which else it could be. I mean, that could be the orange one, but the orange one is a lot more distinct. So yeah, so I'm quite sure this one. They feel okay. They feel a bit. They have like a nice nubbin at the bottom. I'll just move the screen out of the way. Oop. Move the thing out of the way. There we go. They have like a nice thing at the bottom, so you can stand them up. So they will stand up. That's not bad at all. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yes, I saw them yesterday. You were talking about them. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, sorry, it's because, yeah, I did remember. It's just because I think that probably mobile phone autocorrect to Crayos, I think confused me a bit there, but there we go. Yeah, but yes, I do remember you talking about them. Yeah, dark at 7 o'clock. Okay, not too bad then, not too bad. Yeah, usually here, because I guess, yeah, basically towards the summer times, it gets gets light about 3 in the morning and goes dark around 10, 11 at night. But in the winter time, it goes dark around 3, 4 in the afternoon, and gets light around 8 o'clock. It's yeah. Yeah, first I had peanut butter ones. It's 1 a.m. here, so dark. I see. Okay, yeah, quite late. Oh dear. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if I've had the peanut butter ones. I mean, I'm not sure if I have had them. Might have done. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. I think it depends, basically, Rick. I think is the gist of it. Now, where's my knife gone? Here we go. We'll find out. So let's do a bit of the old measurement. Now, the measurements are going to be the same for all of these. I probably will, nonetheless, do them quickly for each one. Okay, let's have a quick... Just so we know what they are in isolation, I guess. A bit difficult to do it perfectly, but well, 3 point, well, that's quite good. 3.33, so I can remember that. And the width at the widest point, roughly about 2.4. There we go. But obviously, it's an egg shape, so it's, you know, yeah. So you notice a lot of egg shapes in sweets, like the mini eggs and things aren't actually egg shapes. They're not this shape. They're like a rugby ball shape, American football shape. Yeah. So that's pretty good. This one. So I think the seams do carry over the design, but you can see it sort of seems to not quite do it. I don't know. So I think this is if they do it, but then they don't. I don't know. You can see it doesn't quite fit together, so I'm not really sure. Well, other ones it does blob over slightly, but it could just be where they've been merged together. But you can see this one here. That blob there is definitely going over that sort of. Get to focus in. Going over that seam line. Not quite focusing, but I think you can see. There you go. So that blob there, it's definitely gone over the seam. I don't quite understand it. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't know if it's just because when it's smudged together, perhaps. Yeah, Krayos sounds like a superhero name. Yes. Well, there were some Lego Transformers called Krayos, I think it was, rather than Krayos. Well, it could be Krayos. I'm not sure. That came out a few years back, about 10 or so years ago. Yeah, that was quite interesting. Well, let's give it a chop. So this one should be speculoos. We'll chop it down the centre. Okay, there we go. So it's like a sort of praline type centre there. That's quite good. They're very filled, very filled. That's interesting. Don't really get much of a speculoos smell. Yeah, but there we go. Okay, not too bad. It looks interesting, this one. Let's give it a taste. Definitely looks like you'd expect speculoos to look like that sort of, you know, smashed up, crunched up biscuit. Yes. I know, praline, I know. Well, it's speculoos flavoured, but it's basically, yeah. You know, what's a better word for praline? I always forget these ones now. Like a truffle, I guess. A truffle. Let's call it a truffle. But they could be pralines as well, you know, I guess if they've got like actual, you know, nuts in or whatever. I guess I prefer to, I don't know, it's one of these terms that it's the same for different things. A praline, truffle, noisette, and all this, that, and the other. Fondant sometimes. Yeah, they've been harvesting different processes. Yeah, they do look. I thought so as well. Just in some instances, Jared, it looked like it continued over slightly, but I think it's just where it's been splodged together, perhaps. Yeah, they don't match. Yeah, this is it. It's just as I say in one case, it did. As I say in this one, you can see it's gone over the seam quite distinctly. But I think that might just be where it's been still wet or whatever, and it's just been squidged in, perhaps. But they seem to stop right on the seam. You know what I mean? You can see that it's stopped right on the seam there. So I don't know if they've just timed it. But it still looks a bit unneat even though they've done that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. Yeah. I think it keeps dripping down and then reaches the seam and then sort of scrunches up against it. I think that's what it is. Truffle sounds better, yes. Yeah, this is it. I think so too, Rick. I think so too. Yeah, I think praline definitely has well, for me, negative connotations. I think for other people, maybe not. But yeah, for me and you, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah, the design at least. Well, yeah, I think it's one of those. I think it's a bit of a. It's not an expensive product. Let's put it that way. But you know, they could have designed it so that it didn't end so abruptly. I think is the gist of it. They could have tried to do that at least. But anyway, all right. Let's give this a go. No, we didn't do the calories, did we? Let's have a quick check of the calories before we forget. And ingredients, things like this. Moser Roth luxury H-Box. It's basically Aldi's own brand range. So nutrition per 100 grams, 500 calories. So just exactly on the middle of the 500 to 550 scale that chocolate has. Well, it's on the middle, on the lower end, the very lower end that I've seen in my experience anyway. So that's pretty good. Not bad for calories for chocolate. 32.2 grams of fat, 18.4 which are saturates. And per egg, 12 grams, 60 calories. 3.9 grams of fat, 2.2 of which are saturates. Is there anything of interest in the ingredients? Just gives you, it's quite good, gives you the individual things it seems. White chocolate, 7%, white chocolate with caramelised sugar, palm oil there. Ooh. Just sneezed a bit, so that's me. So we go. So we got milk chocolate contains cocoa solids 35% minimum, milk solids 19% minimum. Dark chocolate contains cocoa solids 72% minimum. 180-gram box. Not too bad there, not too bad at all. Yeah, it looks quite, sounds quite interesting. Not bad. Yes, speaking of truffles, they're starting to use actual truffle flakes in burger toppings at Burger King. Wow, are they quite expensive then? That's quite. I've never had truffle, that sort of truffle before. That sounds quite interesting. Yeah, I wonder if it's. You have to let me know after. Yeah, maybe I can do. Maybe I will do that crazy section in their Discord. I was just trying to think. Yeah, I'll look out for that. Yeah, I'll have a think on how best to do that. But yeah, still if it's that crazy, of course. But interesting that. Yeah, tell me what it's like. Okay, let's give the speculoos one a taste. Got the bottom half here, so let's give it a go. Interesting. There's not much of a speculoos smell. So I hope it's the right one, but it looks to be. We'll find out. It's I think it's speculoos. It's an interesting one. It tastes a bit like sort of it is, yeah, I think it is speculoos, but it's not a very strong speculoos taste, but actually I quite like it. It tastes a bit like liquefied digestive biscuit almost, actually, and while that doesn't sound very glamorous, I actually quite like that. That's quite nice. Yeah, it's a funny one, these cheaper products, because they don't do things. You get the impression because they don't do things quite as expensive as other brands. They come out with completely different flavours, and actually, they are quite interesting. I quite like this. That's quite a nice, let's say, quite a liquid digestive sort of taste to it. So a liquid biscuit. Which, while speculoos, you could argue those senses generally are like that. They generally just taste of nutmeg or cinnamon or something. This one just literally tastes of sort of liquefied digestive, and but obviously not, a bit more, quite a bit stodgy, but not quite as stodgy as you'd think that would be. A bit more like a cream of it, so like a digestive spread almost. Quite nice actually. That's surprisingly quite nice. Yeah, I quite like that. And the chocolate's quite nice, quite thick and chunky on the outside. Nothing wrong with it. I quite like that. That was quite nice and different, a bit different than speculoos normally as well. I have to say, some of these Moser Roth offerings. I mean, this is only the first egg. We do have the risk of first chocolate syndrome, don't forget. But they do tend to be a bit unique, and because of the way they approach things at a cheaper, more budget rate, it does seem to make them actually taste a bit different. And when you've had all these chocolate sections that we've been reviewing over the past year and a half, or however long it's been, when they pretty much always are the same every time, whenever it's a salted caramel or whatever, they always taste almost the same, and tend to just have nothing but truffles. It's quite nice to taste something a bit different, actually. I quite like this one, actually. Yeah, as I say, I mean, it is basically digestive spread. So when you think about that, it's not like glamorous, McVitie's digestives, but I actually quite like it. Yeah, I actually quite like that one. It's got a mild speculoosy taste, but nothing. I don't think you recognise it as speculoos particularly. It doesn't smell of speculoos, but nonetheless, it's quite nice. I think that's a good 4 out of 5. That one, I quite like that. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Interesting. Feel a bit. Yes, hopefully I've not coming down with a cold. I feel a bit like I've congested a bit here, so apologies if my voice sounds a bit funny. Yes, lots of that category. Crazy contraptions, yeah, dear me. Hopefully all sweet related though, Rick, hopefully. I dread to think. I didn't know it's a cheap product. It doesn't look cheap to me. Oh, that's not too bad then. Well, that's half the battle then, Jav. It doesn't look it. I mean, it basically is, yeah, it's a cheaper range in a supermarket called Aldi, which is a sort of more price-sensitive supermarket, I think you'd say. And it is a lot cheaper, so I can't quite remember the exact price. But whereas this one's roughly around £14 to £15 for this one, this Moser Roth equivalent, can't quite show you just as well. But basically, this one here, it's basically no more than £5. I don't think. I can't quite recall the actual price, but it's definitely not that much. So it's a third of the price, at least I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's not bad at all. That really, not bad at all. And so far so good. I actually quite enjoyed that one. As I say, I do have first chocolate syndrome potentially, which is obviously by which I mean it's the first one I've had today. It's always going to taste amazing because I'm ready for chocolate, So we do have to bear that in mind. But still, I think it was actually quite nice. I actually enjoyed that a lot. Yeah. but it didn't really taste of speculoos. I mean, in some instances, you know, I know I've marked things down because of the fact they don't taste what they're meant to taste like, but it still had enough in it to come across as a sort of biscuit related thing. But it wasn't quite, so I can kind of give it some leeway because it did sort of taste of it. I don't think I'd sort of recognise it as being speculoos had I not been looking for it. But it's more to say that it really didn't taste like other offerings of speculoos rather than it, you know what I mean? It kind of came across enough of it, just enough for me to still actually enjoy it, and I actually quite like the but I'd say it was a bit more of just a sort of digestive spread almost, really, in the centre, I must say. So I'm feeling a bit generous though. I feel like it still did taste nice, and I think, you know, I think a 4 out of 5 is about right, basically. And I don't think it'd be right. I think to say it would be a 3.5 out of 5 to knock it down half a mark, I think wouldn't be a reflective mark of the taste. So yeah, so there we go. Yes, how much do sort of chocolate selections cost where you are, Joe? And I guess Rick as well. Do you even have chocolate selections in Korea, Rick? I think they do in Brazil, Joe, from what you mentioned in the past. Yeah, an interesting one. Blonde now. Got the blonde one now this time. Okay. All right, so what's this one say? Blonde chocolate shell decorated with dark chocolate swirls and filled with salted milk chocolate caramel ganache. So we've got quite a lot of ganaches in the one, Rick. Ganache, truffle, praline, noisette, possibly fondant. So we've got a few salty ones here. We've got salted caramel, salted macadamia, now this salted bron one as well. So it's definitely a thing in this one. Let's move ourselves down. Okay. Okay, there we go. Officially moved. Oh dear, right. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Right, the blonde one. So which one's let's just have a double check. It's like, yeah, it looks to be this one. There we go. I think that's it. So again, like Jao was saying, you can clearly see, I mean, it's as if they've almost done it, but just not stuck it together right. You know, you could, I mean, yeah, it looks to be like it's just been slightly moved. So, you know what I mean? If that's accident or whatever, or just clever design, I'm not sure. But I do like it again. I like the way it will, well, sort of stand up. It's a bit off-centre, this one, but but nonetheless, I quite like that. I think that's a good thing. I think you could take these from the box and put them out on a table or something for people, and I think that'd be quite nice. Although, well, yeah, you could do that. I guess you could, whether you would, I don't know, but you could do it. Let's have so it should be 3.33. I think was the gist of it. About that, 3.38 this time. Could just be a quirk, a mistake by myself, or a quirk in the individual eggs. And the width, 2.4 in the centre bit. I don't think there's much point measuring elsewhere, I don't think. Okay, let's give this one a chop then, down the centre. So it says, what did this one say it was? It said it was a bit salted caramel ganache. Okay, let's see if this does look any different from the other one. Okay, not really. Well, it does actually look a bit thicker, actually. The other one looked a bit more like I guess what you could, I don't know what the official, what I possibly would call a truffle. This one does look a lot more like a spread, if that makes sense. A lot more sort of thick and, what's the word? Velvety maybe? I'm not sure. I think you get the gist of it. No, it's not focusing in very well here. I don't know why that is. I'll lift that up, it might decide. Yeah, I don't know why sometimes it just doesn't like to focus in. There's nothing else to focus in on, so I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with it. Technology, eh? There we go, yeah. But anyway, I think you can kind of get the gist of it. It kind of focuses about there, really. But you can kind of get the idea. I'd like it to sort of focus here. Get to focus on my fingers, maybe. There we go, look at that. The finger trick, there we go. That's what we needed to do. There you can see it's a bit sort of, a bit whippy there, but a bit solid there. But I think it's the same thing. Oh, tried to avoid being a grumbler here, but the chocolate selections are few and far between, usually very expensive. Oh, I see. No, don't worry, Giles. One of those to do. It's a shame. Well, I think on this channel it's acceptable to be grumbling about the lack of availability of chocolate. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, do you think it's because it's just very hot where you are? It's just more expensive to keep them at a decent temperature and things. I wonder if that's the reason. You can see a very thick chocolate shell here. I quite like it again. I think the proportions look good on this. blonde chocolate as well. It's labelled as being blonde chocolate, so you would expect the chocolate to be quite thick. Blonde chocolate, from what I assume, is a caramel chocolate, caramel white chocolate, basically. Let's give this one a go then. Looks very nice. Yeah, give it a go. Wow. We definitely get the blonde chocolate. It's nice, actually. Very nice. I think the salted caramel. I was a bit. I just reviewed. Came out on Friday, didn't it? Actually, my salted caramel Galaxy Fusion. And I said that salted caramel and blonde was a bit. I don't know. This one, it's not quite as severe actually. The salted caramel blonde in that Fusions one was a bit too much. You got a bit too much salt in it. You got it stuck in your mouth and things. Sometimes when you got a grain of salt. This one doesn't have that. It's a bit more subtle actually. But as I say, in this case, the centre is a sort of that fondant rather than just all being a solid chocolate. So quite an interesting one and very nice as well. Actually, very nice. Yeah, I like this one. So you get the blonde chocolate. I think the problem with it is maybe there's just too much centre. The centre's quite nice. It's not unpleasant, but I think I would like possibly just a solid blonde chocolate. Really, I think. But nonetheless, it's still very nice. I just feel like I don't know. Maybe I just prefer solid blonde chocolate. I'm not sure. Interesting one. I think. Yeah, I think it's still an indulgent centre. I still quite like it. It's nice and smooth and creamy, thick, chocolatey. And I think the blonde chocolate still comes through, and you still, get that nice sort of caramel white chocolate taste. And you get that saltiness to it as well. It works pretty well, that one. It's a nice one. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit in betwixt and between this one. I feel like it will benefit either being all the sort of centered around the middle of it, or all centered around the outside of it, the blonde part. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's still really nice, and I still really like it. I just feel like the flavours perhaps are quite strong, like the centre flavour and the outer sort of chocolate flavour, and they maybe just don't quite work that well together. But it's still really nice, and I still like it. And the blonde chocolate's lovely blonde chocolate there actually, and the salted caramel, the saltedness works very well with it. It's not overpowering like it was in that Galaxy Fusions bar that did. And that fondant centre is very nice as well, very lovely and rich and indulgent. I think it would be a 4.5 if it worked better together. I think they don't quite work that well together. I think they're just a bit too stronger flavours that kind of. It's a bit like an immovable object and unstoppable force. They don't quite gel together almost. Maybe not that extreme, but yeah, I think a 4 out of 5. It's a very high 4 out of 5 though, almost a 4.5 for sure. It was nice that. There's another nice one, lovely one actually, and it's not typical boring flavours like we always get in a lot of these chocolate selections. Yeah, so very impressed. Chocolate bars are affordable. Alright, okay, so that does imply that it's not a heat thing. Yeah, so strange that then, Joe. I can't understand that really. I mean, they are quite expensive here though. They do get expensive ones generally, but you do get cheaper ones as well. So it swings and roundabouts. Yeah, it's a good question. Are all candies expensive as a whole, but people buy them anyway? Well, I think chocolate selections tend to. I think I mentioned before that they tend to be quite expensive because the idea is they're gifts for people. So you don't want to buy a cheap gift for someone, and they've got to have a look and a feel that's quite sort of expensive. But at the same time, yeah, so it's one of those. So I think they artificially make themselves look and feel more expensive than they really are. And I think that's part of it, really. What was I reading the other day? Or hearing about? There's some kind of product, I think it was. I think it was alcohol-free drinks, basically. Now, gist of it is alcohol-free drinks. Basically, say a cocktail for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly, you'll pay £10 for it. Let's just say $10, £10, whatever it is, an expensive amount basically. You do alcohol-free drinks, which cost a lot less because there's no tax on the alcohol and stuff like this, so it's a lot cheaper to make them, but they still charge the same price. And basically the reason is because people want to feel like they're buying something that's as good the same product as the alcohol one. So if they price them cheaper, people would think they're not getting the same thing. So it's a bit of a weird one. So people want to spend more. People actually want to spend more because they want the product to reflect the same experience of buying the alcoholic version. It's strange, isn't it? But I can kind of understand it. It's weird. So maybe I think it's that sort of similar with these chocolate products, really. Yeah. Interesting one. So people want to spend more because they want it to be an expensive indulgence, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but you know, some people anyway, not everyone. Yeah, I'll kind of some exceptions. Yeah, sorry, Joe. Yes, I know what you wear. Yes, yes, yeah, I know what you mean. And also very expensive. Well, this is it as well. Yeah, it is a relative concept, isn't it? It is difficult. Yeah, it's like we mentioned before, why we sort of, I don't know, don't touch on it too much. But I think in the case of these one being like a third of the price of the Hotel Chocolat equivalent, it's one of those worth mentioning, I think. But yes, it's a difficult subject, and some people obviously are more, you know, more willing to spend more on things than others. You know, like those non-alcoholic drinks. You know, some people just wouldn't even be spending £10 on the alcoholic version. Never mind, you know, £10 on the non-alcoholic version. So yeah. Right, so got the orange one now. Excuse me. Decorated dark chocolate shell filled with a mixed chocolate, with a milk chocolate and tangy orange ganache. So we've got another ganache one this time, so it's not too bad. Just take a quick sip of my drink. Not bad. Pepsi Max. Okay, so we've got right. Here we go. Here's the orange one. Similar. Yeah, I think my throat feels a bit funny today. Hopefully I'm not coming down with a cold. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so similar to the other one, but it's the same design. We can see it's got the dark chocolate. It said milk chocolate, didn't it? It looks dark chocolate to me, that one. Yeah, shell filled with the milk chocolate's on the inside. Decorated dark chocolate shell filled with a milk chocolate and tangy orange ganache. This sounds very interesting, this one, doesn't it? I like the design as well, the way it's got the orange on it. I wish it did kind of work a bit, or they'd made it a bit better so it wasn't reliant on, it wasn't obvious that the two designs didn't stack up. I mean, they do go over slightly, but yeah, I feel like they could have perhaps done it a bit better. You know, just not had the decoration go right to the seam on each one. And that would have been a bit better. All right, let's have a look. I'm quite impressed with the selection so far, actually. I think they're just nice chocolates. They're not pretentious, and they're actually very nice. All right, I'll give this a measure again, but we know the drill, I think. 3.33 roughly, or 3.8. Yes, let's give it some. Let's have a look. So, pieces in there. Okay. Nope. 3.3 this time, 3.29. So it can depend on the, you know, sometimes the ridge at the bottom where it stands up is a bit more pronounced than others. So you can see this one still stands up. But yeah. Okay, so about 3.3 did we say roughly? Or 3.2 now, but I'll say the lip there 3.3. So it can depend, as I say. The width in the middle, I can't remember what that one was now. Is it 2.4 or something? Yeah, about 2.36. Okay, not bad, not bad. Yes. Yeah, for instance, one Eastern egg around 200 grams costs 79 reais. Is that reais? Is that the correct pronunciation? The minimum wage is around 1,200 reais. For me, it is very expensive. I say. Yes, it's quite quite a lot then, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite a lot that. Yeah. I'm sure what is that sort of like? 12. Yeah, just over. Yeah, 5%. Is it 5% of? Yeah, over 5% of the annual, your wage. Yeah, so it's I think something like that. Anyway, yeah, so quite quite expensive that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean here it's I mean I'm not sure what the averages is and things, but yeah, some things are quite expensive here though. You can be paying like £15, £10 to £15 for a chocolate Easter egg as well, and I think it's yeah in a similar range. Regarding to the minimum wage and things, I think anyway, it's a lot. It's very expensive that £15 for sure. Some of them are cheaper, but you know. Okay, there we go. So it's cracked a bit. Okay, ooh, wow. Yeah, you can clearly see here. Very sort of indulgent offering here. You can see the ganache spilling out there, very liquidy, very indulgent. Yeah, that's very nice actually, doesn't it? That. It's cracked a bit more, but you can see the thick chocolate as well. I think the proportion of these are very good. I think they've potentially made the shells a bit thicker than other brands would have done, possibly as a cost cutter. But I think it actually works very well. I think because the chocolate shell is quite a big bit of this, and I think it actually works quite well. So you still get the taste of the blonde chocolates and the dark chocolates in this case, I'm sure. So yeah. So it looks very tasty, very indulgent. This one, yes. Over 5%, yeah, exactly. Yeah, quite a lot. That quite a lot has to be said. Yeah, I don't know. As you say, it's all relative, I guess. But yeah, when it's asking you, do you have Cadbury there? Nah. What if it's the same? Yeah, I know they change the different cocoa, make it sort of so it melts. They change the sort of cocoa that's used to make it melt at different rates and things. Okay, in different countries, in different climates. All right, let's give this one a taste. Yeah, it looks very indulgent. Let's see. Wow. You definitely get the dark chocolate. And you get the orange as well, which is what you want, really. It's again well proportioned. Lovely, actually. Very nice. The orange taste is really good. It's a nice it's subtle, but it's there. You know, it's again the flavors in these ones are relatively subtle, but not too subtle. They're just about right, really. They just complement generally pretty well with the flavors on either the chocolate or in the centre, depending on which one you're talking about. I think the dark chocolate's definitely there. You get a nice crunch from the dark chocolate as well. Snap a bite. I like that one. Again, it's another one. It's again, it doesn't. I wouldn't say it blows my socks off, but it does exactly what you'd want it to. It's got a nice, smooth, indulgent centre. It tastes of orange, and you've got the dark chocolate on the outside, which complements the orange well. Again, it just tastes really nice. It's a really nice, a nice egg. Yeah, it's a good 4 out of 5. That one, I think. Again, doesn't blow your socks off. You know, there's nothing massively ridiculous going on in there. There's no, you know, nothing too complicated going on, but it just works really well. It's really nice, really indulgent. I like that one a lot. Yeah, another solid egg. More ways than one. Okay, yes, there we go. Yeah. Not at the groceries, Rick. Yeah, you're gonna have to order them on the internet, and it's gonna be expensive because all different between the. Yeah. It's a shame, not Jar. It's a shame, not really. Maybe once every now and again as an indulgence, perhaps. But yeah. That can be the problem with chocolate when you import it. It really can be. But as I say, as a sort of one-off indulgence, I think you can potentially do. I can kind of justify getting some imported stuff for the channel because I then obviously use it for the channel content. So it's a bit more, it's not just well, basically, it's to promote the channel and get people interested, and yes, things like this. So and actually have good content, so I can kind of justify it. So I do buy more expensive stuff than I would otherwise do. Basically, yeah. So not too bad there. But there's had some good selections. Good, I think they've all been about 4 out of 5 so far. And if not been bad 4 out of 5s either. They've all definitely been on the upper tier of that, and definitely nothing close to being 3.5 for sure. Now then, we get the ones that might be dubious for me. The pistachio caramel, not ones I'm always a bit not too massive a fan of. Milk chocolate speckled shell filled with a smooth pistachio caramel centre. It says. Okay, all right. That's a smooth centre, so. Pistachio caramels, that sounds interesting. There's obviously got a green design on this one, which is pistachios generally are green. So this one, this is more the design it should have gone for. You can see it's one that works with both sides of the shell because you're not getting a shell that looks like it's been 2 halves stuck together in this case, even though obviously you can see the seam. But yeah, looks like it should be a mint one, this one, but it isn't. Yes. No, don't be daft, Joe. You're not complaining at all. Don't worry. It's just the way it is, isn't it? Don't worry. I don't think you're complaining. No, it's just yeah. I mean, it's a perfectly valid thing to be talking about, so don't worry. You come in and say, "Oh, I've got a bad back today," and I don't know. If you're constantly just talking like that, then maybe we might be. But even then, I don't think we'd be that too bothered. But yeah, don't worry, Joe. Honestly, it's no problem at all. No problem if you do have a bad back when I want to say it. I'm not saying you wouldn't. I'm just, it's probably a bad example, really. But there we are. But there's no problem. So 3.3. And then I've got 2.4, I think, would it be? Yep, 2.4, there we go. And again, it stands up, which is nice. Yeah, quite happy with these. So they all look pretty good, these ones. I'm happy with these so far. Let's give this one an open. Look at this one. Wow, this is actually... this is another thing. They've really got decent... different senses as well. They're not all just pralines or truffles. They're all... We've had fondants, or ganaches, which have been distinct. We've got caramel in this case. Look at this. We've had a sort of praline, I guess you'd say, yeah, which has been more of a fluffy centre. And this one clearly caramel centre as well. And I reckon that would drip out if we left it long enough. Yeah, I can see that. A very lovely centre there. So a caramel pistachio flavour, it says, which is quite nice. I think for me, it would be, you would normally get in most other chocolate selections a pistachio being having like just a pistachio on the top of it or some kind of thing, or it being a truffle, you know. Whereas this one actually is a caramel, so that's quite interesting. Now again, could be to do with the fact that it's, you know, being cheaper or something. I don't know, but I don't think so because they've had truffles in the other ones and things. So quite yeah. Again, I think this is a good way of doing it. They've been pretty good here. Just have a quick brief read of the description again, just to check. Milk chocolate speckled shell filled with a smooth pistachio caramel centre. So yeah, okay, let's give it a go. Again, another exciting one. This one, it's pretty interesting. Oh, wow. You know what? That's really interesting. It's very distinct taste as well. The caramel's got I quite like pistachios, but I don't really know if it tastes of pistachio, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I guess it does. Obviously flavoured. I guess it does. It's very interesting. It's a very unique taste actually, and a very nice one. Because obviously nuts, for me, the problem with nuts is that it's usually the texture. I don't like that sort of texture of a nut. It's not the taste generally; it's the texture. Although, you know, I'm not a big fan of hazelnuts. I'm not too sure about really. It can depend, of course. It can depend, but generally that's the issue. But this one, you've just got like a lovely sweet caramel flavoured with pistachio, and it tastes really nice. It's a very fresh taste. And again, a lot of the problems with these chocolate selections in like the Lindt sort of selections and things, the caramels have tasted like burnt caramel or like treacly or whatever. This one, it's a very, it doesn't, I wouldn't say it's a sweet caramel. I mean, I guess it is, but you know, it's just the fact that the flavour of the pistachio is a nice, lovely, fresh flavour. I think fresh. You know, it's really nice actually. Yeah, this one. Really good, this one actually. Another great one. I think milk chocolate again. Milk chocolate, I wouldn't say stands out massively, but definitely complements. It's just, in this case, it is more of a shell, just more of a way of getting you to the centre. It's not like the dark chocolate and orange one, where that sort of the dark chocolate there really kind of worked with the orange. But nonetheless, still very nice. Yeah, I think this one. I say I'm not a massive nut fan. I can eat pistachios and things. Yeah, I'm thinking of cashews. Might be thinking cashews, not sure, but I can eat pistachios, you know, even so. Have had them in other things. No, I think I'm thinking pistachios. But I like cashews as well. Yeah, so no, I'm really happy with this one. I think this one might be a cut above, you know, 4.5 out of 5. I mean, it's just reached that extra point where it's just got such an interesting and refreshingly fresh caramel scent. It's really nice, actually. Yeah. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Yeah, very surprisingly good. You know, I don't know if they put that on the front of the box, but very impressed with that. Yeah, again, just getting it right, if you know what I mean. I'm just trying to wipe my plate. I've got caramel all over the cloth, unfortunately, so kind of wiping the plate, and it's just making it worse. So there we go. Yeah, hopefully it's all right. Might have a bit of chocolate on the plate, but there we go. No, very impressed, very impressed. Wow. I'll tell you, we're about the halfway point, so we're just over actually. So let's try the egg. I don't know if anyone's got a drum roll ready, but we'll give it a go. Very impressed with the selection so far, I must say. So long story short is, if we get half white, half milk chocolate egg, we might win. We win a prize. It might be £10,000. Probably won't be. Let's have a look. So let's give it an open. Alright, so we've got half there. Let's see. I don't know any other. It could be else. I mean, you know, yeah. I've opened all the other ones in full actually and finished them off. There you go. Yeah, so we haven't got the half seam there, but it could be on the other side. So let's just give it a bit. Yeah, you can see there. It's not. Yeah, we've opened the other half now. So yeah. Okay. Oh, never mind. We didn't win. I thought it would be at the seam actually where the half is, but when you see the adverts, it's down the centre where the seam isn't. But I can't believe that's the case. But there we go. Right, so what have we got next then? I've been enjoying this set so far, I must say. This is a very nice... So far, this set is pretty spectacular. Raspberry. Decorated dark chocolate shell filled with rich dark chocolate and raspberry ganache. So very similar to the orange one, but raspberry instead. I think it's a bit like... reminds me very much of, say, Cadbury's Roses, where they have the orange and raspberry flavourings. They're basically the same, but just swap over the flavours. I think Quality Street do the same as well. So we've got another nice one here. Yeah. You know, I think these are really good set actually. Yeah, so far anyway. We've got a few more to go, but I can't see him. I'm optimistic, let's put it that way. Okay, let's zoom down a bit. Wow, yeah. Very surprised. It just goes to show, doesn't it? You know what I mean? But yeah, just having different interesting flavours, you know. Right, it's gonna, I mean, it's going to be the same. What was it, 3.3, 3.4 in height, but we'll... just in case people watch in isolation, you never know. 3.3, there we go. About 2.4 in width at the centre. Widest point. Let's just double check. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Let's give it a bit of a chop. Yes, let's see. Okay, nice clean cut this time, which is good. Ooh. The sensor's come out. Okay, let's get it back in. There we are. Alright. That was interesting. But yeah, there we go. Yes, look at that. Yes, ooh. Let's see. Yes, and yes, indeed, high rated so far. Yeah, it's very good so far, Joe. Very happy with this one. And again, we've got that sort of ganache, rich, indulgent centre. Will that come out? There we go. You can see the chocolate shell there. So a thick chocolate shell. Looks like a little bird's nest there. So you can see the ganache there. Not massively thick. It doesn't fall over. But you know, not bad. And obviously in this one it'll be a bit bigger. But yeah, very happy with the proportions. I think the actual thickness of the chocolate is the good amount. I mean, you might argue that is the cheaper bit to produce, but I'm quite happy with that thickness. I think it works very well actually, because you get the chocolate experience as well as the egg. And I think the eggs are meant to have a bit of a thick shell as well. Right, let's give it a lift up then. So let's see. I'm quite again excited about this one. Yeah, very nice. Let's say I think the orange and raspberry one's always a good set in for ones to have in these sort of selections, I think. Okay, so not getting a very big raspberry smell. More dark chocolate, to be honest with you, but okay, let's give it a go. Very sharp, tangy. Raspberry taste a bit more influenced by the dark chocolate. This one, I think raspberry and dark chocolate kind of go well. When you see these in other sections, roses and quality street things, it generally tends to be dark chocolate and raspberry. I think in this case, the raspberry flavour might be a bit too subtle. It tastes a bit too like again like the Galaxy Fusions actually, like that sort of raspberry pieces in with the dark chocolate. I feel like the dark chocolate for me in these ones tends to be a bit too domineering really. I prefer the raspberry to be a bit stronger in this case. I think maybe a milk chocolate or a stronger raspberry would have been better for me. Decorated dark chocolate shell for a rich dark chocolate and raspberry ganache. Difficult one then for me, this one. For me myself, this one's a bit weak. I might have to just try the other end actually. I've been eating just the smaller end. Is this for sale only at Easter? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so, Joe. Because the egg side of it. I mean, they might do another version that's the same thing, but like say in just spheres or something later on if they wanted to. But generally, egg type things, yeah, it's generally just Easter basically. Yeah. As I say, they might re-release the same centres in another selection with different shapes, maybe. You know, they might do that. One way around it. Let's just try this shell as a whole. Then. Let's just see. Do you get that tang of the raspberry? I think because the shell, what does it say? Rich dark chocolate and raspberry ganache. I think it needs to be milk, because see the orange one was a milk chocolate and tangy orange ganache in the top right. Decorated dark chocolate shell filled with a milk chocolate and tangy orange ganache, whereas the raspberry one is a decorated dark chocolate shell filled with a rich dark chocolate and raspberry ganache. You see, because it's a dark chocolate and raspberry ganache, I feel like it's just too strong in the dark chocolate this time. It's still nice, but it's too much of a dark chocolate for me. Now, raspberry is famous for being, I guess, oranges though as well, so I don't know why they've done it slightly differently. Yeah, I feel like it's just too much dark chocolate, and it's still there, the raspberry, it's still there, and this, that, and the other. I feel if you're one of these people that really likes your 70% dark chocolate with raspberry pieces in or whatever, you know, this is basically what that is. I wouldn't say it's 70%. I think on the back it said that the dark chocolate was No, it says 72% minimum. So yeah, it is like that actually. It's 72% minimum. It says on the back. So it is quite dark chocolate. 72% minimum. So it is pretty hefty. It doesn't, because it's quite small amounts and things just in the shell. It doesn't come across as that strong. But nonetheless, I think in this case it's just a bit too much for the raspberry flavour for me. But I'd say if you are one of these people that really likes your dark chocolate with raspberry and very much a very high percentage, then this is what you're getting. But for me, I think it's just too domineering, and I think like they did in the orange one, I think if it was a milk chocolate centre, I think it would have worked slightly better. So is this a 4 or 3.5? This one's definitely, I think, on the lower end of the ratings now. If it's a 4, you know what? I'm still going to give it a 4. It's for me. It probably is a 3.5, I think. But I think it is doing what it's meant to do. It's meant to be a rich dark chocolate. You know what I mean? They've clearly done it to be this way because they've not used the milk chocolate centre like they did with the orange one. They've specifically done a dark chocolate ganache. So it's by design, and I think I can accept that. I can accept it because that is a thing. That sort of dark chocolate and raspberry, in a very high cocoa solid, 70 plus percent chocolate bar, and that I can understand that they've done it on purpose, and that's what it's meant to be. I think for me though, it is more of a 3.5, but I think it's still, yeah. I think I'll be a bit too harsh to mark it down on for the fact that that's what it's intended to be. Now, of course, all these ones again. If you're a massive dark chocolate fan, this one probably for you is a 4.5 or 5, maybe. I think I'm just speaking generally here. I'm a massive chocolate fan. I love all these flavors and things, so I'm trying to be quite impartial, but partial to say impartial. But of course, it is all subjective, so you have to bear that in mind, and it's difficult to be that way. But I try my best to be, and I think, really, based on the fact that a lot of these, I don't get a massive wow factor from them. I feel like if there's something else going on, maybe a third thing to a lot of these, I'll probably go over this more in the wrap up later. There would have been higher ratings, like either like crunchy pieces or something else going on in them, really. Just something to lift them up slightly, to give them slightly more going on. But nonetheless, anyway, digressing a bit there. Very nice, that one, and I can appreciate that for what it's meant to be. As I say, I don't think it doesn't work quite well for me because I feel like it's just the raspberry flavour's lost a bit too much for me. But I think that's the intention to be a bit more about the rich dark chocolate. So I can understand that. I get it. All right, so what have we got next then? Salted macadamia. So we were a bit I was a bit apprehensive about the old pistachio before, but it turned out to be amazing. So we'll see. Salted macadamia, a white chocolate speckled and shell, filled with a smooth salted macadamia centre. Okay, so it's white. This is the only white chocolate offering in the set. We have got one. Looks very nice. Again, it's a speckled one, so I think the speckled effect does work very well, and I kind of almost wish they'd done that for all of them, but I guess it's nice to have a bit of a variety in the design. This one looks very nice actually. You can see it's golden actually. At first glance from a distance it just looks brown, but when you get up to it close it's a golden speckle. I think it looks very nice actually, that one. Yeah, because it's a bit too white at the top maybe there, but yeah. Very nice indeed. Yes, this one doesn't stand very well, this one. You can see the knobble at the bottom is rather than, well, I don't know what's the difference. Rather than convex or concave, it's the other way around. So it's not going to stand. This seems to be the case on the white chocolate ones, actually. It should be like that. There we go. All right. Okay, well, let's move down a bit. Very, very excited about these ones, yeah. Very excited there. I'll say I'm very optimistic about this one as well because of the fact that it's the pistachio one was so interesting. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it looked darker in the pack. Yeah, it did a bit, didn't it, Joe? Yeah, it was a strange one, that one. I'm kind of glad though. I think these look very nice actually. I feel like the only problem slightly is the two half ones. But even on the menu in the top right hand corner, you can see that they don't match together. They've not tried to make them look better than they are in the menu. You can see on the top right, like the blonde one for instance, that the two halves don't really match even on the menu. So I quite like the way that they've done that. They've been quite open about it, which is good as well. They've not glamorized the product to make it look different than it actually is, and I think that's really good. Okay, so it's about 3.33. This one will be a slightly more, I think. Yeah, 3.5, 3.49, just because of the fact that it's that bit's bulged out at the bottom more. about 3.4 at the seam. 2.4 rather. 2.34 this time. Yeah, 2.37 there. So it can just slightly depend. A bit greasy this one. Some of them feel a bit greasy, but it could be just the temperature rising a bit because of the lights in here. Try and cut it on the seam. Got a bit of a just clean that nice slightly. Just a slight bit of chocolate on it from the last one. Doesn't seem to want to come off actually. Okay, give it a cut. Well, there we go. Nice. Yeah, this one's more of your yeah, what was it referred to as a sort of a praline type centre before. So it should be quite an interesting one. This one. Let's say quite excited to see how it is. Let's see. No real. There's a slight smell from it. Maybe what possibly could be described as macadamia. I'm not sure. I can't think what else it could be. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Let's say this one's more a bit like the one in the speculoos at the start, where it's a bit of a fluffy centre, and that was described as a praline, I think. Well, smooth with biscuit butter, it said actually. When it says smooth, I think it's like a fluff centre, like a sort of truffly centre, I think you'd say. Yeah. Okay. We said biscuit butter before, and I did describe it as like a digestive spread, didn't I? And I think that's probably what that biscuit butter could be, that as well. Yeah. Yeah, true. Pretty honest on the pictures. Yeah, definitely, Joan. I think that's definitely to be appreciated. Definitely to be appreciated. That. But again, you know, it's sort of comes across as not being a glamorous product, I guess. But nonetheless, I like that. Okay, let's give this one a go. Quite a thick white chocolate again. So we'll just see. I guess it can depend. It will depend on the quality of the white chocolate here, I think. But let's give it a go. Definitely more of a nutty flavour to the centre on this one, but it comes across quite again quite buttery. Definitely more of the nutty one than I think in the pistachio caramel one. Because of the fact that it is more of a sort of fluffy truffle centre, I think you're not getting it invaded with the caramel sweetness. But you do obviously have the white chocolate creaminess going in there, but I think it works quite well with it actually. I think this one for me is not my favourite because I'm not a massive nut person. I think the nut flavour is what you're getting more here. But I think that's to be, you know, you can't really complain because that's what you'd expect. I'm not sure about this one. This one's still nice. It's not unpleasant at all. I don't think it's quite as high as the other ones. I think it's I don't know. I kind of said before with the raspberry one where it was doing what it said it was going to do, and therefore I didn't lower it down a bit. But this one, I'm not too sure because I feel like I don't really know. It's basically a bit like a sort of macadamia spread almost. It's a bit like the speculoos one. It's like a digestive spread. Yeah, I'm not sure. I quite like the way they've got white chocolate in. I think it works quite well with it. It's an interesting one. I just don't think the centre's quite for me. Let's just finish off the egg in this case. Again, it's like a very thick, spready type centre, you know. It's very. There's not. I think I got a slight, you know, grain in there too. Maybe of macadamia or whatever. I'm not sure. It could be just, you know, misfinger. There's only that one in there. Interesting one. It does come across. As I say, it's like a spread. It's a bit like if you imagine, like you get some Biscoff spread. It's that thickness, you know. It's interesting. As I say, like the speculoos was like a digestive spread. I don't know. I think the flavour for me is not really for me. I think the macadamia flavour just doesn't really do it for me. I think it's got more to it than that. It's not just macadamia. It's got sweetness there. It's got some butteriness to the spread. And as I say, the white chocolate's quite nice as well. It's quite sort of, I think it works quite well with it, actually, the white chocolate. I don't know. I feel like, you know what? I think this selection is such a good selection, really, and I think they've got such a good wide variety of flavours and things. I can appreciate this one again. I think for me the macadamia flavour is not for me, but nonetheless I think it works really well at what it's trying to achieve. It's a really interesting flavour. It comes across well. It's nice, thick and indulgent. You get a lot of the white chocolate that works well with it. It's a relatively nice flavour. It's not ridiculously macadamia focused, but you get the taste of it. You know, again, I don't think I can mark it down for that. I think it's nailed what it's trying to do. So I think I'm going to say a 4 out of 5 again. Really. I think for me myself, it is a 3.5 out of 5. But I don't feel like I can mark it down for it, for the fact that it just doesn't quite work for me, because I feel like it is what it's still nice to eat. You know what I mean? On some products with nuts in things, I'm not generally a big fan of them. You know, the nut focus kind of ruins it. It's too much nut in there, whatever. I mean, this one again, you might complain because it hasn't, like the pistachio one, doesn't actually have bits of nut in, and maybe that's a cheaper way of doing it. You know, don't actually have the nut in, you have the flavour rather than anything else. But for me, that actually comes across a lot nicer. I prefer that. But I think it still gets the hint of the macadamia taste as well. So yeah, I'm not going to mark it. I feel like it's just another solid chocolate, really. Yeah, I'm happy with that. As I say, now I'll come into the wrap up. I'll mention the fact that there isn't actually any sort of actual nuts in any of these or anything like that. So that could be a part of cost saving, but for me, it actually works quite well. You still get the flavour, as I say, and you still get the experience, and it's still an indulgent chocolate. So yeah, not bad at all. Okay, well, so it's the last one now. It's a salted caramel. This is one we get 3 of. So let's have a look. Here we go. Is this the yeah? Here it is. So it's another speckled design. A bit like the other one, but it's got like golden look to it again. Obviously, this time it's on milk chocolate, so it looks a bit bronze, I guess you'd say, or brass. Yeah, very nice. Okay, let's zoom down a bit. So this is the last one. Yeah, cracky. Not bad though. All right. Okay. Here we go. Yes, I'll do the measurements again. But 3.33 pretty much is the height. 3.3. And the width, 2.4 pretty much. Not quite this in this case. Let's just try again. Yeah, 2.38. Yeah, didn't measure it quite right. You measure it till we get what we want. Okay, it's hard to measure it accurately sometimes because of the fact it's can be slanting things, but there we go. And again, it does stand up, this one. Then the white one was the only one that didn't stand up in both cases, so it must be a way they'd make the white one, maybe, or just been unlucky twice. Not sure. Okay, let's give it a bit of a chop. Oh wow, look at that. Very runny caramel, this one. So it's definitely more of a I feel like the pistachio one wasn't quite as runny as this one, so even runnier than the pistachio one. A very runny caramel. Yeah, it's a lot runnier, this one. It's actually, I can't tell, it's actually running out of the shell. I lent it over there. So it's a different consistency again than the other one, which I quite like. So they've not just done the same thing twice. This one, the pistachio caramel, was a thicker caramel. So they've actually, made some effort to make it more distinct for this. Yeah. I think this one might be a bit more of a burnt caramel taste, but we'll see. But clearly very runny. Very runny. Be careful this one. Yeah, stop rolling out, I think. No, interesting, very interesting. Okay, you can see it's actually pouring out to the side there. I've lent it over like that. To be careful. Yeah, crikey. Okay, yeah, so it's just pouring out to the side. So, okay, oh God, I can't keep it up, that one. Slipping out my hands as well because it's getting quite greasy and runny. Oh God. Right. Okay. Well, I'll have to try and organise this somehow. I think I might just have to be quick. Okay. Goodness me. All right. Caramel everywhere. So very runny caramel in this case, as you've seen. So salted caramel. What's the actual description then? Milk chocolate contains milk chocolate speckled shell filled with an indulgent milk chocolate salted caramel sensor. It's milk chocolate salted caramel. Okay. Right. Well, so you can see it's, let's say, dripping out there. All right, well, let's give it a go before it goes everywhere. Let's do it. Yeah, it's that burnt caramel taste. That's quite common with well, it's very cracky. Yeah, we might have a weak one in the set here. To start with, it's got that sort of burnt caramel taste, which to me is not a great caramel taste. It's just a bit too. It's just not sweet enough, you know what I mean? It's very strange. And it catches in my mouth a lot as well. It actually caught quite heavily in my throat as I was having it in my mouth. Yeah, we might have spoke too soon, though, Joe, I think. It looks great to top the selection. I mean, it's a nice, runny caramel, definitely there. But it's just got a very burnt caramel taste, and I say it really catches in the throat. Just try again. I'm not really getting much of a salted. There's a slightly I'm getting a salted taste, but yeah, it's so. It's really that strong butterscotchy taste to it. It seems to be quite common in the sort of, I guess sort of Swiss, German, I don't know, mainland European caramels. I think it's a very sort of very butterscotchy. In this case, it's ridiculously so, even more so than any of the others I've had in any of these sets. Really, it's extreme. I'm not really, and I say I can't really taste the saltiness because of it, because it's so butterscotchy, and to the point where it actually really sort of catches in your throat. It's a shame, really. It's a shame. I kind of wish they'd carried on with that pistachio caramel, having that kind of caramel, I think. Although obviously that was flavoured, so it's hard to say. This is milk chocolate flavoured, so I don't know again. Yeah. Unfortunately, this one, it's just a bit actively. It's a shame. It's a real weak point to the set, this one, and it's the only one with 3 of them in as well, which is a real shame for me. It's too much of I say that sort of bitter, butterscotchy caramel, burnt caramel taste. You can't really taste the saltiness to it. I wouldn't describe this really as a salted caramel. I'd describe it as a burnt butterscotch caramel is what I would describe this as, and it's not really for me at all. Yeah, real shame. It's just so strong, and it catches in the throat, to be honest with you, as well in your mouth. It kind of, yeah, it's just not an overly pleasant one, this one. Oh dear. I don't know. Unfortunately, I think this is quite a low rate. It's not unpleasant, it's not horrible, but ones that just don't work. I don't think I can just say below average. This one just actively doesn't really work, unfortunately. And for those kind of ones, because of below average chocolate is still generally really nice, which is a 2 out of 5. It's just below average. This one just doesn't work. It's not actively unpleasant, so which would be a 1 out of 5, but I think it's got to be a 1.5. It just doesn't really work, this one. It's just not pleasant to eat. It's not nice. It's not a nice experience. It catches in the throat. It's too strong, too butterscotchy, too bitter, not really salted. This is I think a problem. It might just be me not appreciating sort of the more mainland Europe, German, Austrian, Swiss caramels, but for me they just don't, maybe even Belgian, they just don't really work for me. They're just too butterscotchy, they're too bitter. I say this one, you can't taste any saltiness to it really at all. It just comes across as like a treacle, maybe a treacle taste actually rather than butterscotch, like a burnt treacle flavour. I think not butterscotch, treacle. That's what I should have said before. It's like a burnt treacle taste. I think I might have used butterscotch in the past, but maybe slightly butterscotchy. But I would describe this definitely as treacle. Real sort of bitter, burnt taste to it, and I don't think that's really what I would expect from caramel. And especially salted caramel, you can't taste it because of that burnt treacle taste. You can't taste the salt to it. Because I knew it was there, I was looking for it, and I can kind of sense that it's there, but even then, I really don't get that impression. So real shame, that one. And I'll say, unfortunately, this is the one with there's 3 of them in the set as well. You might really like that. You might really like a sort of runny treacle taste, but I don't know. Not for me, that one. Not for me, unfortunately. So the set as a whole, then, I'm very impressed with the set generally, other than that caramel one. Even the pistachio caramel was really nice. It was the best one, actually, I felt. But they're all very good. I think some of them, I think the salted macadamia was a bit of a slightly weaker one, but that's purely my perspective on it. Whereas the salted caramel one, I think, was a real miss, actually, unfortunately. A real miss, that one. A real shame. It was extremely bitter and extremely like a burnt. It was more so than any of the Lindt ones I've had in the past that I've not been a big fan of. Yeah. But the set was still nice as a whole, actually. I still liked it, and I'm sure some people might still enjoy that one. But unfortunately, that was the only one there was 3 of as well. So that was a bit of a shame. But there were some real strong ones to this one. I think most of them were very nice. And they're all upper end of the 4 out of 5s, except perhaps the salted macadamia, maybe the raspberry. So the other ones were all sort of on the top end of the rating of 4. And the salted caramel one was, as I say, unfortunately, the standout one that was being pretty poor, that one. But yeah, very nice overall. Great set today. Yeah, great set today. It was really good, actually. Really enjoyed it. As I say, I'm sure some people would appreciate the salted caramel one, but for me, it was a real miss, that one, unfortunately. Real shame, because we had so many good ones, and unfortunately just hit that one right at the end. It looked nice, though. It did look the part, at least. Yeah. I think for me, the set's very nice. I think It's got really good variety in there. You know, I think they all, you get 2 of each one. Other than one you get 3 of. Unfortunately, I'll say it's a weak one. But they are quite a varied set as well. They all come across very well. They're all different and pretty unique, actually, to an extent. You know, I say I think the speculoos one was a bit, not quite speculoos, but it was a nice one all the same. The pistachio caramel was very good. I think they had a bit of variety with the white chocolate and dark chocolates as well. The salty caramel one was a as I say, a bit of a disappointment there. Oh dear, I don't know. You know, I'm torn really. I think it's a very solid set, this one. I think if it wasn't for that salted caramel one, it would be a 4.5 out of 5 for sure. It really would be. Because I think as a whole, they all just lift the setup. You know, even though most of them were all 4 out of 5s, they all really lifted the setup. Because they just all were such a good variety and such good prominent tastes and distinct tastes and interesting tastes and proportioned really well. I just don't think I can give it a 4.5 out of 5 with that salted caramel in there when there's 3 of them as well. I just don't think I can. I want to, I really want to, because the set's that good. But unfortunately, it's just been brought back so much because of that one, because there's 3 of them and it's just a real miss of a chocolate. So nonetheless, it's still a very high 4 out of 5, but it's not quite a 4.5, unfortunately. I can't give it a 4.5 when there's that chocolate in there, but it was still very nice. And some people I'm sure might like that salted caramel one. But very, very good set, that one. A very strong one. It knocks a lot of the other sets out of the park. It really does. And it's the second Moser Roth one I've been very impressed with. The other one was the alcoholic one. And they've all generally been pretty good because they've all not been pretentious. They've all been interesting. They've all had well proportioned. Those the Moser Roth H-Boxes have generally all been very good. And they're at least a third of the price of the Hotel Chocolat ones. I would definitely recommend them. They're really interesting and very distinct. And yeah, and this is another winner, really. As I say, it's not perfect, especially with that salted caramel, but you know, for the price and this, that, and the other, a real good quality chocolate selection. This one, very nice, very interesting, and well proportioned. And that could be a bit of serendipity because of the fact that they're cutting costs slightly in some areas, but because of that, they've actually made it work even better, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't explain that. You know, say the chocolate being thicker or whatever. I don't know, but it works. Whatever they're doing, it really works, and it's really nice. And I'm very happy with it. It's a really nice selection, this one. I said just a shame the caramel's a bit of a miss, but the pistachio caramel was fantastic. So you know, I just wished it. I don't know. Yeah, done it slightly differently, but I'm still very impressed with the set. 4 out of 5. Very impressed. Very nice. Moser Roth ones, all really good. It's a shame they lack an air of quality, which I think it holds them back, but that's probably one of the strengths as well and why they're so good, because they've not tried to be pretentious and things. So swings and roundabouts, I guess. But yeah, very nice. Well, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that review. Yeah, great to see you, Joe. Great to see you, Rick, if you're still there. That's a bit of a quiet one today because most people are out and about in the UK, I think, is just because it's such a good weather day. First one we've had in the year, probably the last one we'll have as well. But there we go. It's been great to see you all. Hope you all have a lovely weekend. A nice, peaceful, resting day or two. Yeah, and I say there's a 6-second gap, so I do apologise if you do say something that might have already gone by the time I read it or it comes through. So I do apologise for that. But have a lovely day. Thanks again, Joe, for all your comments, and yeah, and Rick as well. He's probably gone to bed, Rick, I think. Hey, thanks again. Great show as always. Press the like button. Have a peaceful Saturday, everyone. Thanks so much, Joe. Yes, please like the video. It'd be really appreciated if you can. And leave a comment or free after the event if you're watching later on. But yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks so much, Joe. Thanks for all your support, and Rick as well, and everyone else who's watching also. Thanks so much, and have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. See ya. Thanks again, Joe.